All right, welcome back, everybody, to yet another Cools Reviews. Like we promised last time, this is going to be a viewer requested episode, and so we're delving into the world of Silent Hill. Not the video game, perhaps at some point. I don't think I have Silent Hill, but I do have Silent Hill 2 for the original Xbox. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about Silent Hill, the movie. Today, obviously, my name's Keegan. Joining me is
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hello, I'm Sam.
All right, so we are doing this back on Zoom because we're not filming good. We want to make sure we're healthy. We got a big, college event coming up, so we want to get healthy before then. So Silent Hill, like I said, was based off of a video game, which video game movies are either notoriously almost 100% always not very good, or you have the rare exceptions. So we're going to try to judge it today on the ranking of Super Mario Brothers or Sonic the Hedgehog? Which side of the pendulum does it swing on, right? All right, so I guess we'll kind of talk about what it is and then we'll go into depth about it. It is a horror movie. It does, I think, deal a lot with psychological horror and I guess undertones of religious horror and hysteria. Something we've touched upon in some of our witchcraft stuff, like Haxon, when we did our Spirits of the Silver Screen. Mass hysteria, can really fuck up the brain. And so I think it does show that here. Just try to make your own decisions, I guess. Andrew, do you have anything to add to that?
No, honestly, to be honest, I love this movie. To me, it's one of the best game to film movies that I have ever seen, you know, and I like Resident Evil and all, but that not even close to game. This one, it hit pretty darn close to me.
Okay, what about you, Sam?
As I was watching it, I was just like, this feels like the video game.
Right?
There was parts I was like, am I watching a cutscene?
Yeah. And yeah, this was kind of the first time I watched the movie, mainly because I play more video games than I do enjoy watching films. Because films is like a set thing, and video games, you create the story for the most part in a lot of them. So I enjoy creating the stories opposed from just following along, but there is some that I do enjoy. But it definitely did feel kind of basically like the video game.
Yeah, I will say that's kind of where I'm conflicted because there is a lot that I thought did really good justice to what the video game, at least what I remember. It's been a long time since I played the original Silent Hill, but at least the characters, and just the atmosphere of it really did really well. And this is, like Sam said, also my first time watching it. Most of the time, outside of like maybe a Resident Evil, I have stuck away from the video game genre. I have seen like Super Mario Bros. Just because it is notoriously bad, and of course Sonic the Hedgehog. So that's why I can kind of base it off those two. As far as the movie aspect, there's a lot of this where I was like, I think it would have played better as the video game, which obviously it was the video game, right? There was just some scenes where even I was like, did I just see the top of the movie set? So at the beginning, I will say I was on board, but not fully on board. But towards the end, it was like one of those where I was like, no, I got to see how this is going to finish, And so I think it did turn around towards the end for me personally. Like at first, I was like kind of, it definitely was better than Super Mario Bros., but it was nowhere near Sonic. And I think now it's towards the Sonic realm of that pendulum for me. Andrew, anything that like for the movie aspect that stuck out, either pro or con?
I really loved how it really kind of had that survival horror game feel to it, where Rose is pretty much alone for most of the movie and she has to find like little clues and hints here and there, like, picking up pictures and keys and things out of people's mouths and stuff like that to try and solve a puzzle. That to me, it really gave it that survival horror game feel to it, which I really loved about it.
Yeah, for me,
Um,
I could definitely see that too. It definitely, even some of the characters definitely seem just like the side characters you'd meet in video games. and how they would talk and walk and stuff like that. I was like, no, this is very video gamey. So I think if that's what it was going for, it nailed it, like 10 out of 10. Like it definitely felt like a video game
That's
movie.
to me personally, that's what I'm looking for in a video game to movie film. I mean, even the town itself, I loved how the town was almost set up exactly like the game itself.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, I would say this and a non-video game movie by the name of Hardcore Henry feel like the most video game movies I've watched as far as just how the characters talk to you and this and that and how they interact, and if you're not looking at them, they don't look at you kind of deal. And so
Mhm.
yeah, I think if it's going for trying to feel like the video game, 10 out of 10, easy. Sam, what about you?
I'll give it a 10 out of 10 as well. When you think about video game to movie kind of movies, I should say, I guess, some don't always do it well. And it's pretty difficult to try and make it that way, but I thought it turned out really well.
Yeah, I mean, even the soundtrack itself, that's the soundtrack from the games. I thought that was awesome. Like you don't even have that in Resident Evil.
There was two things in there. So I guess I'll give my rating. If we're basing it, did it feel like a video game? 10 out of 10. As far as it feeling, is it a movie, good movie? I would probably rate it more of a 6 out of 10. It's definitely a watchable movie and one of the better video game movies for sure. Just as far as being a good movie, I don't know if I could say that, but it's a good video game. Now on to soundtrack. There was a couple. The Johnny Cash portion, I think, kind of brought me out of the movie because I was like, "Whoa, this feels not like it should be in this movie." And it feels like a lot of the budget probably went to that movie or to that music. But then there was a jingle that they would play, and I don't know if I can't remember if it's in the video game,
It
but
is in the video game.
is it that like do do like that? Like,
Yeah, there's actually there's quite a few little melodies in it that are in the video game.
okay,
It's a
because
video game that I quite enjoyed.
for me, like what it remind there's a TV show and I can't remember what it is called, but it's about like paranormal stories, like people recount their paranormal stories, and I like swear that is their like end of the episode theme song. Like as everything's like being resolved, they've moved out of the haunted house. That's the song that plays. Oh man, I can't remember. I'd have to like fact check what it was, but 100% like I'm almost sure because like every time it would play, I was like getting ready for the narrator to be like, and then they moved out of the house and all the haunting stops. Sam, do you have anything to add about the music?
I mean, coming from a video game kind of person, the music really didn't bother me much just because they throw random music in games anyway. So it wasn't anything abnormal for me. So I kind of enjoyed it.
Was there any good jump scares for you guys?
I don't know about jump scares. I mean, they had some creepy stuff in there. The gray children were just as creepy as they were in the game. The only difference was is they didn't have a knife in their hand. But, I would still be scared shitless if, out of nowhere, screaming at me and shit. Or, especially with like Pyramid Head, ripping what's her name's skin off. What was her name? I forget her name right now. But that
Well,
that would terrify me.
Sam, what about you?
Not really. Maybe if it was like revamped nowadays, then potentially, but I don't know, maybe.
Camera angles that they used was a lot like the angles that they had in the game.
Hmm.
It just kind of, you know. But yeah, I mean, personally, I would have given this movie, turning it from a game to a film, I would have given it a 10 because to me, it's one of the best adaptations that I've ever seen into a movie from a game.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion, though. I mean, I've seen so many other videos of games being turned into movies, and it's like nothing like they've changed it into whatever they wanted to, and instead of trying to stick with that game feel to it.
like Super Mario Brothers. Like
Or
why?
like the new Halo
You
series
know
where
what?
Master Chief talks.
haven't seen the new Halo series.
I know, but Master Chief is not a speaker, and they made him like talk in that one, and it's just like you guys keep butchering this. You have a potential to make something really cool, but you guys are butchering it by
Well, it's like
someone
modern-
not willing to be silent.
Yeah,
If
modern
they-
media.
if they spent that, $50 million that they did on this movie, I think that's what they spent, about 50 million on this one. If they spent that on just Halo, I think that would have turned out awesome.
I mean, I think you just gotta have the right people behind it.
Absolutely. Somebody that actually had a passion for the game itself. I mean, the guy that made the movie played the game.
All right. So, what do you guys think of the acting? We'll start with you, Andrew.
I mean, I thought the acting was well done. I mean, they had the scenes that they needed to. They added a few scenes that I didn't think were necessary, like the husband. I don't think, I mean, it kind of helped at the end, for the very end of the movie, give it that a little bit of a emotional sense, they're together, but they're not really together.
And here you get Sean Bean, and he doesn't even die.
Right?
I mean, I've seen Game of Thrones, I've seen Lord of the Rings. I know what happens to Sean Bean in movies. I kept waiting for it. I was like, okay, he's in here. What is going to happen? Nothing. Like, it started kind of getting intense there when he got arrested when he broke into the orphanage or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he might die in this scene. Or he's going to go in the city and something's going to happen. So, yeah, nothing. Sam, what about you?
The acting was really good. I liked the acting in the movie.
Yeah, for me, the acting was okay. I won't say it's like top tier. I guess.
No, it's not top tier.
I guess I'm
mean,
kind of a cinema snob, I guess you would say, considering all the movies I watch.
I mean,
well,
it
it's not
gives
like
Dark
they spent
Knight the run for its
$150
money.
million on it.
No, but there's been other movies that are low budget. I mean, it's definitely, I'll say this, it's better than the Blair Witch, which I know you guys teased me about earlier. I'm glad we didn't have to watch it again.
What do you mean? I watched it while I was waiting for you guys.
I mean, it's a short
how
movie.
much-
You probably could have.
How much did they spend on that movie?
On the Blair Witch, I think they spent
Yeah, probably
on
nothing,
viral
right?
marketing.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. Let's see, my phone doesn't die before I find the answer. They spent $60,000
There you
on
go.
Blair Witch, which I feel like
Pat, stay down.
we could get $60,000 and make a better movie than Blair Witch Project. It's one of the most boring movies I've ever had to sit through.
Well, the 60,000 shows.
Paranormal Activity, if it wasn't viral marketing, no one would have watched it, and it would have got terrible reviews. Like Paranormal Activity, I remember people were like, "It's so scary" and blah blah blah. Do you see the trailers? And I went there and I was like, "This is pretty boring."
How much did they make in the box office?
What, Blair Witch?
Yeah.
I think they made a good amount. People thought it was legitimate. Like they thought those kids had died. Let's see, Blair Witch Project. How much did it make? Oh, they made 248 million.
Did you say
240 $248 million in 1999. I think is when Blair Witch came out.
That's more than Silent Hill made.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
And they
because
spent
people thought it
50
was
million.
real. 50,000. They spent 50,000 on stupid Blair Witch. But I mean, like I said, the thing that helped Blair Witch was viral marketing. They put out all the stuff and acted like the kids really disappeared. Like the families of the actors were getting letters that were like, "Are your kids okay? Did they die? We saw pictures of them in missing photos." Like, yeah, everyone thought it was a real story. Just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Do you remember when that came out? Everyone was like, "It's real." Did you see the video at the end? I'm like,
Well, which one?
It would have had to be before 2003. But at the end when it's like found footage and they're walking through the police and he comes out, people are like, "It's real."
It's real.
And I was like,
Hydrate.
it's not real. They base it off of Ed Gein. They badmouth.
Well, we kind of stopped. We kind of stopped talking about our movie here for a minute. Let's get back to our movie.
Well, I'm trying to think what else we can talk about. Like, so we've
I mean, they included quite a few of the characters. I mean, you had the Dark God in there, you had the Cult in there, you had the Gray Children, Pyramid Head. Who
yes,
were
I
some of the other
mean,
characters in it?
Pyramid Head definitely I thought looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, especially the bugs, around him in that one scene. That was great.
Or even the scene where they're going up the stairs and he's just like stab and then just like rips that lady apart.
Rips the skin right off.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely had gore. If people are interested in movies with lots of blood, probably your type of movie, I would say.
Or a little bit of cult and witchcraft in there. That's kind of stuff I like seeing.
Yeah, how did that stack up? I guess that is something we could talk about. As far as the witchcraft stuff, what did you think of it?
I mean, there wasn't enough in it for me to enjoy. I mean, of course, I enjoy the fact that there's witchcraft in it. And that's kind of how the story is based off of, you know, burning and whatnot. But I mean, the cult itself was a witchcraft cult.
Hmm.
They're following a dark god, and there's symbolism in it and stuff like that. But to me, there wasn't enough of it. There can never be enough of it for me.
Sam, what about you? Is there anything paranormal-esque that you enjoyed in this movie?
Almost interdimensional in a way, to where it's like a kind of a mirror of another plane of existence that is kind of within the same realm.
Yeah, I would say you're accurate in that description. It definitely felt like two dimensions at least. Like, and I guess the splitting point was the fire, the original fire in the town, where those people were then trapped in that second dimension. Though it was, I guess, kind of vague on how they got. I guess she let them in to that dimension when they were going to Silent Hill originally, and then got in the accident. I guess she was the one that let them in. It was kind of vague on how they got into that dimension, I guess.
It was kind of vague, or it also kind of seemed like in the crash they just died and their bodies were just taken there or something. Is something that I maybe kind of came to the conclusion of, just because when they woke up it was all like white ashy or like snowy, was what I was figured, like come to the conclusion of, with that like white stuff coming down.
Yeah, I did like the
Dash coming
scene
down,
with
yeah.
the ash. I thought it was really well shot and it was really pretty eerie actually. Just the abandoned town and
Super eerie.
yeah, we've been to lots of towns that kind of look like that, like small towns. You think about Cheyenne or Laramie, some places in New Mexico. We went to some here in Colorado, and then just add no one's there, and then there's just like ash raining. It would be definitely eerie.
And just the map layout of the town, it just is like a procedural generated game.
Right. Yeah, when they were looking at the map, when they were
Like
going
a
to meet
weird
the
path
darkness,
that
I was
is
like, this is
like-
totally a video game level. So thank you guys for joining us on our first viewer requested Cools reviews. We did do one as far as a book review, but this is our first Cools review. So thank you for suggesting Silent Hill. It looks like everybody at least enjoyed it at some aspect. Some really enjoyed it. Others were just like pretty entertained. So thank you. If you guys want to see more Cools reviews, check that link to your left. If you want to see more about what we're doing here at Cools Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe.
Subscribe.
That was delayed. We have to do that again.
Subscribe. And let us know, is there a movie you want us to check out? And if you've seen Silent Hill, what did you think?